Oh shit, we're talking Xbox? Yeah, we're talking Xbox. Because apparently there's this rumor going down that Xbox Games Pass and Xbox Live will be coming to Nintendo Switch. Now, if you are somebody who only plays Nintendo, which I'm not, I do own an Xbox One and I do own a PlayStation. But are you someone who only plays Nintendo? And if that's the case, what Xbox games do you know of that you might want to play? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about 3 games that I personally recommend Nintendo fans to play. So, what games am I talking about exactly? Well, not a lot of you guys play an Xbox. I have an Xbox. I play it almost on a daily basis because most of my friends are on Xbox. So while I'm on the console, sometimes I'll look for stuff that, can only be played on that. I understand PC is a very big thing, but a lot of Nintendo fans, if they're only playing Nintendo, they're not going to play a PC game either. But this video isn't for people who play a little bit of everything or play mostly Nintendo. This is for the people who typically only play Nintendo, or maybe for some who do mostly play Nintendo and don't really go on the green side of things sometimes. So, let's talk about the 3 games that I think you should play. First off, the number 1 game you should play if you're going to go a little bit green on your Switch, it's called Cuphead. And it is phenomenal. It's one of the best things on the Xbox. I think it's probably one of the best games on Xbox. Again, it is also on PC, but we're going off of the whole idea that you're a Switch player who hasn't played other systems. And if Xbox Game Pass means anything, you're going to be playing this on your Switch anyways. So, Cuphead, maybe I'll have some gameplay around somewhere. I don't know, new to this whole new style video. But, seriously, probably one of the best platformers I've played. Best platformers I put at the top of my head that is recent would immediately be Cuphead and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So if you were a Nintendo fan, typically you like platformers, so I think Cuphead immediately, because Cuphead it's so good. It has a beautiful art style, and it's really challenging as well with a lot of the bosses. The game is more or less a boss rush, so you're not going to be seeing a lot of like super crazy, intricate level design, but the bosses have like these patterns to them, and fighting a boss is almost a puzzle within itself. So you really should, play Cuphead. It's probably the number 1 game to recommend, and I highly recommend if you are a Nintendo fan who enjoys indie games, who enjoys platformers, and maybe you enjoy a little bit of challenge as well. Definitely play Cuphead. It is by far one of the best games on that Xbox brand. The second game is a game that I haven't seen that many people talk about, and I guess it's because I frequent a lot of Nintendo circles, so not everyone talks about it, but something that I think is in my top 5 Metroidvanias of all time, and that game is Ori and the Blind Forest. And Ori and the Blind Forest is also getting a sequel called Ori and the Will of Wisps, so I guess you could kind of just put both of them in a 2-pack type thing, right? My god, like, I've seen people talk about beautiful art styles in games when talking about games on the eShop. You have Gris for things like that, and there's other games as well, but my god, Ori and the Blind Forest is fucking beautiful. It's so beautiful. It has such a sad story, and it honestly brought a tear to my eye at one point in the story. It's so good, and it's not like the craziest thing in the world, but the level design is great. Every location looks beautiful and varied and different. Ori is just fun to control as well. You get all these new abilities. It's a Metroidvania, but I think it's one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played. If you're someone who likes Hollow Knight, for example, Ori and the Blind Forest kind of, in my opinion, blows Hollow Knight out of the water in terms of visuals, in terms of control, and Hollow Knight is fantastic, by the way. I am not shitting on Hollow Knight in any capacity. But I just love Ori and the Blind Forest that much more. That's just it. It's a beautiful game. So if you're someone who finds yourself enjoying, games like that, like Castlevania, maybe like the Bloodstained game, maybe if you enjoy, Metroid games, if you enjoy Hollow Knight, Guacamelee, things of that nature, you owe it to yourself to try out Ori and the Blind Forest, and maybe Will of Wisps when that finally releases. because I played Ori and the Blind Forest on my Xbox One way after it released, not even realizing it's a thing. And then I found out it's published by, I believe it's published by Microsoft Game Studios. I could be wrong, but all I knew was that it was like an Xbox thing. And if that's coming through along with Game Pass and that's playable on Switch, you owe it to yourself to play it if you like Metroidvanias at all. Do yourself a favor. Play it. It's fantastic. And, you know, I look at it as like up there with Cuphead. It's really that good. Do yourself a favor and play it. Now, this is the last game, because, again, I only said 3, that I recommend as Game Pass. You know, and there's a lot of games that typically when you look at like the AAA releases on Xbox, you see a lot of disappointing stuff, like Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, you know, that kind of thing. So, in my book, I think games like Killer Instinct is fantastic. And you should play Killer Instinct if you haven't already. And I also think that me saying Rare Replay would be a cop-out, because everyone would have known that that would be something a Nintendo fan would like, because it's full of Nintendo games. But I didn't want to pick something so easy. I didn't want to pick something like Rare Replay. That's too easy. And Killer Instinct is also kind of too easy. It was originally a Nintendo thing too, even if this new one isn't on Nintendo. Either way, you should still play both of those. Consider those honorable mentions. But there's one game in particular that I think should be played, and it's interesting because I've seen Nintendo fans that I know personally that looked at this game and go, that looks kind of fun. But Xbox fans I know, which, by the way, were people that this game was originally meant for, just didn't give a shit or just hated it altogether, while I kind of enjoyed it. That game is Sunset Overdrive. It was a game that was hyped up by Xbox. It's a game by Insomniac, developed for Xbox, and it actually released on time and was good. I know, like, these days, like, the idea of anything other than Gears of War, Forza, or Halo doing well on Xbox is like a kind of like an alien idea. But Sunset Overdrive is really fun. It's almost like you made Jet Set Radio into a shooter. And it's fun. It's really good. There's not much I can say about it. It's wacky. It's not to be taken seriously whatsoever. You're grinding on all these different environments. The world is like a skate park, essentially. And you have all these wacky guns with like explosive teddy bears and vinyl records that slice through characters. And all these weird things. It has these multiplayer modes that aren't exactly the best. But that single player is a lot of fun. And I felt that it was important for me to pick a game that is not too obvious like Rare Replay or Killer Instinct, and wasn't an indie game either, because no offense to indie games, but if you want to show off what you can of an Xbox game showing up on a Nintendo system, something like a game from Microsoft directly kind of fills that role a little bit, you know? Not just a game funded by them. And I guess you could say this game counts, but it's AAA, so I thought that it was important. If it's true that all of these games from Xbox Games Pass is coming to the Nintendo Switch, these are 3 games that I feel even a Nintendo fan would enjoy. You have Cuphead, a very difficult boss rush of a platformer. You have the beauty of Ori, and the name of the game that escapes my mind. I'll take it. And then you have Ori and the Blind Forest. Yes, I remembered it this time. That is beautiful, stunning, and just awesome in level design and everything it does. It's so good. Try them all. Sunset Overdrive, a AAA game from Microsoft, showing up on your Switch, and it's good. You owe it to yourself to play these games. And while Sunset Overdrive is probably the one that I feel might not fit your love of Nintendo the most out of these 3 games, I do feel that the weird and wacky nature of the game, Nintendo fans are just pretty likely to accept it. And you know what? If you're that kind of person who is, then at least I recommended the game to somebody who wanted to play in the first place, or would have liked it, right? But I guess that's actually it. I play a little bit of everything. This channel is Nintendo based because Nintendo's my favorite, not because Nintendo's the only thing I play. And I feel that it's nice to see these games come over, because now, you know, Xbox as a brand can grow, and at the same time, Nintendo fans get more to play. And I know not every Nintendo fan can be a fan of Halo or Gears, so these 3 I feel are the most fitting of your time. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, make sure to hit that dislike button as hard as you can. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If not, then I'll be streaming a lot. I've been doing that lately. So be sure to subscribe for that kind of thing as well. Hit the bell to be notified when I go live. And yeah, that's kind of it. Follow me on Twitter. I forgot. That's a thing too. Do that. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.